to welcome you as we reflect on the readings of the 29th day of the month of May this year 2024. And we'll be reflecting on the readings. First reading from the book of First Peter, chapter 1, verse 18 to 25, and also from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 10, verse 32 to 45. Welcome. In the first reading from First Peter chapter 1, verse 18 to 25, the first thing that comes to mind, or the first thing that comes as a result of the reflection, is that the salvation that we have got through Jesus Christ is the most precious thing, or is the most precious gift one can ever enjoy having. And why do we say so? It is because the salvation that we get from Christ is a salvation that can never be bought, it can never be measured, and it is, by fact, beyond all the goodness that can be bestowed onto humanity. That is why we are told that the salvation that we get from Jesus Christ Himself is far better and far enriching than the perishable goods or the perishable items that we may acquire, that we may own. Salvation from Christ becomes the best gift that humanity has ever received. And this is the best gift that I have ever received. What does this call me to do, therefore? This calls me to treasure the salvation that Christ has offered to me as a gift. It makes me therefore yearn to live out my life as a Christian in a way that will be cultivating and will be motivated by that salvation that Christ gave me willingly by accepting to die on the cross for me, a mere human being. And when we talk about this, it reveals to us the plan that Jesus Christ had for us and the true love that He had for the human race. And not just He had, but He has to date. That is why we find that God's redemptive work is known to be the foundation of all goodness that we enjoy as human beings. And therefore, this calls us to, first of all, live in holiness, live a holy life. Like, let me yearn to make my life to be a holy life. I know it is very hard to live a holy life because of our humanness, because of our limitations, and because of the nature of our humanness. And therefore, we are called, through the help of God, to always yearn and strive to live this holiness. And when we strive to live this holiness, the first thing that we need to do is to live well with one another. And by living well with one another, it calls us to have a genuine love, which is found in verse 22 and 23. We are called upon to live a genuine love for myself, genuine love for my family, genuine love for those whom I live with, genuine love for my friends, and genuine love for everyone. And when we cultivate this genuine love for our colleagues, those we meet, it means that our genuine love for Christ is there. Because to love God whom I don't see, I have first to love those whom I see. Because God resides in them. That is why in creation he says, I am creating man in my own image. I am creating human beings in my own image. So whenever I do anything good, whenever I love my colleague genuinely, it means that I'll be loving God even more genuinely. The first love that I need to cultivate in my life is a love for my neighbor, is a love for that person whom I don't even expect something from. You see, sometimes we're tempted to love only those we can get something from them in return. Like we love with conditions that I love you because there's something I'm targeting to get from you. This is not genuine love. The love that Jesus Christ is teaching us today is a genuine love where we love wholeheartedly. And this brings us to the gospel reading from the book of Mark, where we find the disciples of Jesus coming to him and telling him, please let one sit on my right make one of us sit on your right and then one on your left. But Jesus tells them that days I am not to grant you. But let me just reflect on this, the left side or the right side. Let us look in our daily lives. There are those people that we have always put on our right hands, like we do everything good for them. The right hand person, the person that I trust, the person that I can rely on, the person that I find it easy to help. And there are those people that we have put on the left. These are people that we know that there's nothing we can get from them. We hate them. We don't relate with them well. We don't associate with them. We don't want to help them. Maybe because they can't help us in return. But in life, something that I've always learned and that I continue to learn is that the person that you put on the right, if I put you on my right, there are high chances that that person may be putting you on the left because naturally you have put him on the right, or you have put her on the right. But if that person stands side by side on your side, the left part of that person will be the nearest to you. It means that I put you on my right, but the person you put on the right may, on many occasions, put you on the left. And that is why you say that the person who will betray you is the person who is the nearest to you. And the nearest people are those who have always put on the right. The person who knows your secrets is the person on the right because you'll be always feeling free to share with this person. But something that we learn is that the person that you have put on the right may not put you on the right. He may be putting you on the left. And this person that you're putting on the left, the nearest to you is his or her right. It means that the person that I'm putting on my left may be that person who is putting me on the right. And it may be that person who is truly and genuinely loving and caring for me. That is why it is sometimes said that the people that we take as our enemies, one of the reasons for putting people to be our enemies is because they tell us the truth and they never lie to us. The people we put on the right may be those people who tell us pleasing words that we want to hear. But let me tell you that these people we put on the left are the people who are responsible for me to move ahead, for me to grow, for me to be a better person. So that is why Jesus goes ahead to tell you that never hate even your enemy. Even your worst enemy, never hate that enemy. That enemy is there for a purpose. The people you put on the left are there for a purpose. And these people love you. And they love you to the end. So let us just be people of genuine love. Whether you are on the left, whether you are on the right, be that person who cultivates genuine love. And when we love one another, Christ lives in us. Christ lives with us, and Christ lives for us. The kingdom of God will always be present if we love one another, just the same way Christ loved us. Jesus Christ loved us and lived that love in this world so that we may know and we may learn the best way of loving our friends. He loved to the extent of giving his life for all. He loved to the extent of loving even those whom he knew that were to betray him, those whom he knew that were to deny him. What extent of love do you have for your brothers and for your sisters? What extent of love lives in your heart? When we love genuinely, God lives in our midst. Thank you so much for joining the video. Be blessed, and let us keep praying for one another and praying for the world, that we may not just love by our words, but by our lives genuinely. Be blessed.